lose more and more of their magic unless they find their one true mate, obviously. A perpy tattooed man? I'm sorry. Where was my name written somewhere on this cover of this book? Like, I don't understand. Happy days 3 and 4 of Vampathon. It is about 8:30 right now, so we are going to the orthodontist today, which is not fun, but I get my next set of Invisalign trays, like my next 3 months. I've been doing it for 3 months already, which is kind of crazy. So we're doing that right now. When we come back, we are going to bullet journal. I've been saving a bunch of bullet journal updates for all 3 readathons that we've been doing this month for today. Today's gonna be a really busy day at work with like a lot of calls that I'm presenting on, which is very annoying because last night I started reading Bonded by Thorns. I read the first 100 pages like that. It felt like it took 2 seconds and I didn't want to put it down. Like, I'm very upset that I can't just spend the entire day today reading that book. updates are done. It feels so good to be like caught up because I had quite a few things to do, but I'm glad that we were able to do it together. I need to still print out Pumpkin Spice and Poltergeist, but I didn't realize that my printer was out of colored ink. That's why all of these covers are in black and white, which it doesn't matter too much because a lot of these covers are very like black, so you could still make them out with their titling and stuff like that. But Pumpkin Spice and Poltergeist is like an orange cover, and so it didn't print well. So I still have to add that in for our Vampathon spread, but all I'm gonna do, I kept this really simple, is just put the book cover in correlation with where the prompt is on this side. And then I still have to print out a couple other covers for my Season of the Witch. I'm kind of doing the same thing. I'm just printing the covers and then writing in what prompt it was for. So pretty happy with this. And we still have a bunch of time before I have to log into work. I have 45 minutes. My orthodontist appointment took like literally 15 minutes. They just looked at my teeth and gave me like my next 3 months of trays. So I will not complain about that. We're going to run off and frolic to read Bonded by Thorns, but first let me give a little bit of an update about it. So Bonded by Thorns, we have talked about this book. A lot of people have been reading this and talking about this book. This is my Fairy Loot edition. It is a why choose or like reverse harem fantasy romance that is a spicy Beauty and the Beast retelling. Our main character, her name is Rosalina. Her father ends up going missing and she goes after him to find herself in the Enchanted Vale. She like falls through this rose bush in the woods and finds herself in the Enchanted Vale. She goes to save her father, but she has no choice to make a deal with these 4 fae princes to take his place. He was being held prisoner by them. And so she begins to learn more about the princes that she shares a castle with. She learns that the princes are cursed, so at night they turn into these demonic wolves that don't necessarily have like sentience all the time. Like they don't know who she is and recognize her, so she could be mauled by wolves. And she's finding that as each year passes, they lose more and more of their magic unless they find their one true mate, obviously. So as she's spending more and more time with them, my assumption is she's gonna want to stay with them and be with them and potentially maybe their mates. What's really interesting, I think, about these princes, I love that we got this edition because the fan art is really helping me like picture these guys. So these are 2 of them. There is one prince that is covered in just armor and no one has seen his face. Only his mate will be able to see his face, and I love it. I love a masked man. Like I really, really do. I love him. I think that this is the winter prince who's kind of cold and crazy. And then there are these 2. I want to learn more about him because he looks like Milo from Atlantis and I'm obsessed with him and his little glasses. And then this is the summer prince and he like never wears a shirt. So that's really fun. Last night, I picked this up and I was like, let me just read the first like 5 chapters. The chapters are really short and I was reading it on my Kindle. So I was like, let me read the first 5 chapters. I got to 30% last night. I read the first 100 pages. I couldn't be stopped. It is so addicting to read. Like it just moves so fast. Something is happening in every chapter. Especially in the beginning, you're getting introduced to a new character like every single chapter. It's been so fun getting to know like this castle, getting to know these princes. I am so intrigued to learn more. I can't wait until we get to Spice in this. I just feel like it's gonna be so good and so fun. And reading something super fast paced and super spicy, like is there a better book for a readathon? I literally don't think so. officially lunchtime, meaning it's time to read Bonded by Thorns again. I popped our chicken pot pie in the oven because all of my work calls tonight are around dinner time. So I was like, let me just make dinner now. I was debating going to walk on the treadmill while reading Bonded by Thorns. However, we're getting to some spicy bits, so we will be sat on the couch. We are officially over the halfway point in Bonded by Thorns. We read quite a bit on our lunch break. This book is so chronically readable. Like, the writing style is just so bingeable, readable, easy to digest, easy to want to keep going. Like, it's absolutely addictive to read. I will say, thoughts and feelings so far on like the romance and how it's building and stuff like that. Rosalina isn't my favorite female main character. I feel like she adjusted to falling into fairy and like this whole scenario very quickly. This world is so different than the one that she came from that I'm like, how are you adjusting so fast? I think that the male love interests are the stars of the show. Oh my god, this book is only 331 pages. That's wild. I thought it was way longer than that looking at the like physical book. I'm hoping to finish this tonight. I think after we get through the 1001 work calls that I have today, I am so excited to just lay in bed, read this book, eat my chicken pot pie, which we haven't touched yet. I took it out of the oven. I have to show you guys. It came out so good. It's so like cooked to perfection. I'm having the best time. And then we'll be in a good spot to figure out what to read tomorrow. I honestly have no idea. Good morning, besties. It is the next day. I'm trying to get organized right now because I feel like my brain, I have like a million things to do today. Not like stressful things to do, but I just have like a lot of little things to do. And it feels like I can't focus. My brain's a little all over the place today. I'm about to make my to-do list to like take a breath, get organized. I just made a really beautiful cup of chai tea. I'm not usually a hot beverage person, but lately it's been getting to like, I feel gross saying this, but it's been getting to 70, 75. And to me at this point, that feels like true fall. So a little hot beverage to help us focus. I didn't end up finishing Bonded by Thorns last night because it was super duper late and I was very sleepy, and we woke up early this morning to do our Tuesday stream, and we streamed Fields of Mystria, which is like one of my favorite games of all time at this point. We're getting ready for the update coming out in November that I literally cannot wait for. So that was super duper fun. Let's just get to it. We're gonna have a productive day. It's already 1:20. We're going to finish Bonded by Thorns for sure, and then I think I'm gonna pick up another little shorty. Better. We finished her. I don't know what I want to rate this because enjoyment factor and like fun factor, I would say this is a 4-star read for me. Literally so fun. Like any book that I can read in a little over 24 hours, clearly it was doing something right. So I think it's a 4-star. I will say like towards the end, it started to get repetitive. And the plot was very see-through to the point where, you know, I can deal with some of that, like if I'm predicting what's gonna happen and it turns out to happen, like that doesn't ruin a book for me at all. But when something is so obvious, like painfully obvious, and the characters are just like pretending that it's not happening, I'm like, can we get on the same page? I really like it. I like it a lot. I want to continue with this series for sure. I did start the next couple chapters of the second book, which is Woven by Gold. And I think we're gonna focus on his name Fallon, the Fall Prince, because if you look at the cover, it's just so, it's so fall. Okay, so the books we have left, a book with a gothic setting and a dark academia setting. Interesting. I think I might be able to count A Dance Macabre for a book with a gothic setting. I have to check. The book that really is coming to mind with a dark academia setting is An Academy for Liars by Alexis Henderson that recently came out, which I also have on my physical TBR. I just wasn't planning on reading it, but we finally get to put this beauty from our TBR cart onto our bookshelves. At this point, we have quite a few Fairy Loot books that have sprayed edges, and I have been dying to redo my bookshelves recently. It's just not working for me anymore. And part of me wants to do one of the sprayed edges out type shelves because we have quite a few of them. I could probably fill up a whole shelf. So that's not gonna be in this vlog, but it might be coming soon because I keep just like looking at my shelves and thinking about it. And let me show you, now that we're reading a bunch of books off of our TBR cart and we're putting them in their next home in the bookshelf, I'm just kind of putting them, like the Poisoner needs to go on this like adult romantasy shelf. Same thing with Phantasma. So I've just kind of like put them up there. Kiss of Iron needs to go next to A Touch of Poison, and there's just like not room on the shelf. Same thing over here. This one, I mean, I have stacks of books anyways, but like that stack of books is all the way to the tippity top and I need to reorganize this. And then these are all books that I'm unhauling. I also have an entire 2 bookshelves in the office room that I haven't put any energy towards yet. So we have our work cut out for us, but that is a job for another day. Some very quick first impressions of An Academy for Liars. I am on page 16. I have read 2 chapters of this, and the way it pulls you right in and the creepiness starts right from the very start, I am gagged by this. The last book that I read by Alexis Henderson, I always meant to read House of Hunger, but the last one that I read by her was Year of the Witching. I read that in like 2021, I want to say, so it's been quite a while. This is so scary. She's getting ready for her engagement party, doing her makeup in the mirror, and she feels very like out of her body, and so she slaps herself in the face. I'm not saying any of this is normal. The slap carried down through the legion of her reflections and then stopped. It's like she's looking at like a mirror within a mirror, so there's like a bunch of her reflections. One of the Lennons in the mirror didn't strike its cheek. It didn't move at all really, except to smile, its lips pulling up at the edges as if the corners of its mouth were attached to strings that had been sharply tugged. Sorry, my camera battery died, so this might be a slightly different angle, but anything that has to do with mirrors doing things that they're not supposed to be doing, or more accurately, reflections doing something different than what you're doing, is so creepy and so scary. Let me give a brief synopsis for this one because I think I have to stick with it after feeling like this after the first 15 pages. So our main character's name is Lennon. Her life is falling apart. Her fiance is a sleazebag. Her mental health is not in a good place, but she gets a mysterious phone call that invites her to take the entrance exam for Drayton College, a school of magic that's hidden in a secret pocket of Savannah. She never remembers applying to this university, but she's been chosen, like everyone else at the school, because she has an innate gift of persuasion, the ability to wield her will like a weapon, using it to control others and, in rare cases, matter itself. She passes the test. She goes to this like super vibey southern willow tree covered and like ivy covered college. Despite persuasion's heavy toll on her body and mind, she is wholly captivated by her studies, by Drayton's lush moss-draped campus, and by her brilliant classmates. But even more captivating is her charismatic advisor, Dante, who both intimidates her and enthralls her. But it seems like the ultimate test is for her to embrace absolute power without succumbing to corruption. Because if you have this power of persuasion and you can make anyone or anything do exactly what you want them to do, I can see how it would be pretty easy to get corrupted. So I think this one is definitely horror focused, but it sounds perfect for Vampathon, and it fulfills that like dark academia prom. Besties, it is time that we have to close out our daily vlog for Vampathon. However, we will be continuing an Academy for Liars in the next vlog, absolutely. I ended up stopping at page 40, chapter 5. The other book that I read by Alexis Henderson was so much more inherently horror because the subject matter was witches, and so it was like historical horror with witches. This one seems a little more, I don't know, like psychological almost, because of where we meet our main character and because of the mirror scene, and now like she is just thrown into this testing sequence to see if she gets into the academy. What's it called? Drayton Academy. It all happened so fast that you're kind of like, I mean, she wasn't in a good mental space when we first meet this character. Like, definitely content warnings, I would recommend checking them, especially right at the very beginning. It seems like that was the worst of it. Well, tough to say. Hopefully she doesn't go back there, but the beginning was a little rough for her mentally. So it seems very psychological. It kind of has me questioning, like, is any of this even really happening? We also met her advisor, Dante. He is this like tattooed preppy man who is wearing like Oxfords and a trench coat, and he's like testing her, and we just met him, but his hands and his neck are covered in tattoos of what we can see of his skin, and I'm like, a preppy tattooed man? I'm sorry, where was my name written somewhere on this cover of this book? Like, I don't understand. The only other thing I wanted to mention before we close out this vlog is this book is blurbed by Alex Harrow. I love Alex Harrow. This writing style actually really reminds me of Alex Harrow. We go to this weird house, like, I'm gonna give this to you all out of context, and it's right in the very beginning. We go to this weird house. She has this conversation with this man. He's like, take the elevator up to the 8th floor. She's like, this is a 2-story home in the middle of Utah. She goes in this birdcage elevator, which is so creepy. She presses the 8th floor. A second door closes, it opens, she's in Georgia. If that isn't giving you the 10,000 Doors of January by Alexis Harrow, I don't know what is. I'm hesitant to call it whimsical writing because I know that this is gonna get like spooky, scary, horror-y, and Harrow does not write that way at all. But there is kind of like a level to this writing into this world where you're like, I don't know if that makes sense. It's also late and I've edited this whole vlog tonight, so maybe my brain isn't working. So I'm very excited to continue this in tomorrow's vlog. We're gonna get some good reading done. I can't wait to fly through this book. It feels like we're flying through every book that we're picking up together this week, and I'm absolutely living. I hope that you enjoyed, friends. If you did, please be sure to give this video a big thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe. If you've made it this far, leave a butterfly emoji. if you'd like to let me know that you were here. I know that this is a moth, but let's just do little flutterflies in the comments. I will catch you in my next one 2 days from now.